Yeah, that's the thing about tangerines is they're always, I don't know, tangerine.
Tangerine. That is. Wait, what's the thing about tangerines?
They're
They're
round.
orange.
They're orange.
Yes, they're round and orange.
They're the color of the Linus Tech Tips logo. I got a
Yes.
new monitor recently and I was annoyed by the calibration because the oranges look really red. And I was
Oh,
like,
really? So it wasn't right.
well, it was just the calibration out of the box. It was like a HDR IPS display and
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was looking at the Linus Tech Tip logo and it was like orange on my other screen. I pulled onto my main screen. It was like, it's red. And I'm like, why is
Ooh.
the
See
calibration of it
that?
so red?
Yeah, that's one good thing with my screen because it's like the same panel, I guess, but split into two. So like it's identical, and there's no seams or no bezels between the two. It's great.
But then I'm just thinking, wait, what if I... And then I started pulling up... literally started pulling up pictures of, like, oranges and tangerines on my screens to check, like, the orange levels. But then most of the
Right.
oranges I pulled over looked fine. And I was like, have I just been colorblind this entire time? Is this the way I find out? But I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I saw some other people talking about it being a bit too red.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I find it interesting. They didn't give you a calibration report. So it's not calibrated at the factory, or is, but not like to a hype.
I've roped Tony in to talk about a bunch of tangerines I've been playing for the past 6 months. Starting with one of my favourite games I've played this year, Spyro the Reignited Trilogy. I have never played a single Spyro game in my life, but I remember always wanting to on the PlayStation. And given how massive of an Insomniac fan I am, it just makes sense to play these games. Like, I'm such a huge Ratchet and Clank fan that I really, really wanted to try the Spyro games. Because and the remaster looked really good. Like, graphically it looked really good, and then mechanically it looked like they done a very good job from what I could read. But obviously, I've never played the originals. Yeah, playing it... Because what I found with the Insane trilogy that Activision publishers remastered, I believe this one was Toys for Bob, because I think the Activision one was the Crash Bandicoot one. That was the other team. That was Vicarious Visions, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Who then went on to do the Tony Hawk remaster. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Why didn't they get Toys? I guess... they should have got Toys for Bob to do the Crash Bandicoot. They should have got Toys for Bob to do the Tony Hawk remaster, because if you've played Spyro 3, you'll know that there's tons of fucking skateboarding sections in Spyro 3. Yeah. But we'll get into like the differences between the games later. I think I only have gameplay footage of the first game, but visually they're all pretty similar. It's like in the gameplay that it changes quite a bit. But yeah, as I was saying, I played originally... the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy after never having played the original Crash Bandicoot trilogy on the PS1, and I found I really didn't like it. I mean, I think it was faithful to the original games, but I found that I just didn't get along with like the precise platforming. So then I was like, okay, well, I've never played Spyro, and I don't want to repeat of this, but Spyro is a lot different to the Crash Bandicoot in terms of like the kind of platformer it is. Crash Bandicoot's a very precise, precision-based platforming, whereas Spyro is more of a collectathon through and through. Yeah, it's more about just going to levels and 100%ing everything.
Just collecting all the gems.
I think like the collectathon thing is another big thing between the 3 different games. So let's talk about Spyro 1. I fucking love Spyro 1. After playing all of the Spyro games in the Reignited trilogy, I think Spyro 1's probably my favourite. The big thing Spyro 1 does is that I think is really interesting. In Spyro 1, the collectathon elements are you collect things for the love of collecting things. There's no like requirements for you to collect anything. You can, apart from rescuing dragons, you don't have to go and grab, 100%, or as they call them in this, there's like 120%, 117%, and 100%. They're just random numbers, so I don't know why.
Right.
But for me, after playing Spyro 1 and playing it for a bit, I was like, I'm going to 100% this game. And as I played the other games, I realised I wanted to 100% all of the games on Spyro and then get all of the achievements on Steam, which I did. I now have 105 out of 105 achievements on Steam. I have mastered the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who's thinking about playing this to 100% the game, because it is really, really fun.
Is it just like getting all the gems sort of thing and like finding all the secrets, or?
Yeah, like you want to gem all the levels.
Yeah.
You want to collect all the secrets. Yeah. But for like the achievements on Steam, there'll be specific things they want you to do in the levels that aren't specifically just about collecting everything.
Yeah.
So that's slightly different. I mean, technically, you can go further with your collecting, because there's the thing called the skill book, which you may remember if you've played stuff like Ratchet and Clank, which has a similar system, where you have like the skill point system, where basically there's even more achievements on the skill book, where you can go, you need to do this to get a skill, which gives you a skill in a list on a book. But I decided for me, my 100%ing of the game was 100% on the actual progress bar and all of the Steam achievements. I didn't go for the full every single skill point that you technically could but didn't need. So like, I think that's an interesting thing to say, is like, in a lot of games you kind of decide when you're done with the game, and whether that's, you know, you're a true completionist, as I'm sure some elitists will say, you're not a true completionist because you didn't like get every single skill point. Maybe, but for me, the fun I wanted to have was in the act of just 100% in the game on the game and Steam, and that's what I did. So
this guy's great, by the way.
Yeah, all the dragons kind of talk to you in the first game. In the second game, I think it's eggs. So you don't... It's either the second or the third game is eggs, so they don't really talk to you that much. Well, I think they still talk to you, but they're like babies rather than fully grown dragons.
Right.
And you go into... This is the dragon world. And then I know in 3 you go to the magical world. I'm trying to remember. Because I played Spyro. I took a break, played some other games, and then I played like Spyro 2 and 3 back to back.
Oh, right, okay.
So, like, I'm trying to remember, like, exactly the differences between the game. One of the big differences, as I was alluding to earlier, in Spyro 1, you can kind of complete the game without 100%ing it, or, like, collecting all the stuff. And I like that it's just collect for the fun of collecting. In Spyro 2 is where it changes a lot, where in Spyro 2, there'll be, like, a bridge, and you have to pay a guy 100 gems to get across that bridge. And it's more like a lot of the content is gated behind collecting, and it's whether you like that sort of stuff or not. Like, you'll get like the ability to scale walls, but you'll have to buy it from Mr. Moneybags for like 400 gems or something. Yeah. And like, collecting becomes more of a requirement in the second and third game, rather than just a, just for the fun of it, as it is in the first game. Because I think literally the only thing you have to collect to get onto the next world is just to free the dragon statues. That's literally it.
Okay.
The health system in this is pretty interesting as well, which I quite like. So the way the health system works is you have this thing called Sparks, who's yellow. This yellow dragonfly. And if you take a hit, he goes to like blue. If you take another hit, he goes to like green. And then if he takes a hit there, he flies away. And then if you take another hit, you die.
Okay, right.
So the color tells you how many hits you can get, but you can actually feed Sparks critters, like you saw me fire breathing on the chickens. If you feed him critters, you can like regain health that way. I think it's a really like interesting system to do it. So I'm just killing that guy so I can collect a dragon egg. That's one of like the collecting thief, objectives. Right? Yeah. Let me look at the Spyro 2. I think Spyro 1 was like really fun. And well balanced. And then there's like, I think it was one of the bosses on Spyro 2 or 3. I think it's maybe 2. There's a boss where it's like a Dark Souls boss, and it's just like, where the fuck did this come from? Like there is some big difficulty spikes. I think like the treetops map on the first game is like a big difficulty spikes in terms of platforming. That's the one where you have to do a lot of like dash jumping around treetops, and there's like one of the hardest jumps in the game is on that level, and it's like a very like precise jump sort of thing.
Yeah. I see that was a jump in the first game.
Yeah.
So just kept it there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done this jump before. Like, did you like fluke it the first time?
Yeah. Trying to figure out what my... Trying to figure out how... I think like... Oh, Gulp from Spyro 2 is the Dark Souls boss. He's the Dark Souls boss.
And then all other bosses are easier than Gulp.
Yeah, pretty much. The final boss of Spyro 3 was kind of hard. But if you're a completionist, you can actually... there is a way to make the bosses easier if you want to do it that way. Because if you like 100% all the normal levels, you can unlock like an infinite supercharged mode sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Which makes like some of the achievement hunting a lot easier. Like, because there's like an achievement for fighting Gulp where he just starts he does like unfair attacks against you, and he has like attacks that like lock onto you no matter where you go. Like it feels really bad to face against him. Like it's a very hard boss fight.
Right.
But like there's an achievement for completing him without having your dragonfly eat any food.
Oh, okay.
Oh, another really annoying thing about that boss fight is AI comes and drops stuff for you to help you. So it drops you like food and stuff, and it drops you like bombs and stuff to attack the boss. But the AI is so fucking slow in that boss fight. It never comes, and it's so fucking tedious. Like that boss fight design is like super outdated.
Yeah, okay.
But I guess very faithful to the original. And it also bugs out all the time that fucking... The people that are supposed to bring you stuff, I found that sometimes they would get bugged out and just wouldn't come.
They could have fixed that though, surely.
Yeah. One major bug that I found that I think pretty much everyone will experience is if you're playing on higher refresh rates, like above... I think it's above 30. I was playing like 144 hertz. Your character will slide sometimes while you're trying to stand still.
Oh,
and
right.
I think the only way to fix that is to just limit your frame rate, which I wasn't going to do. So that was like just one bug that I found kind of annoying. But apart from that and the boss
do you
fight
limit
bug,
the frame rate to like 120, or does it have to be limited to 30?
No, it has to be limited to like 30.
Oh god. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Because I would limit it to 120. Yeah, I just dealt with it. It wasn't like constant. It only went off some of the time.
Just something to watch out for.
But yeah, as I was saying, for the completionist in me,
200.
One of the
You've done it.
One of the achievements is to defeat the boss without having your dragonfly eat anything. And as I alluded to before, how you heal is you have your dragonfly eat things.
Yeah.
So the one way to do it is just to not ever get hit, which is really fucking hard because the boss has attacks that like home into you, and it's like almost impossible to dodge some of the attacks. But then the other way to do it is to just take the hits. But then your allies are like randomly dropping chickens, and if you get too close to them, then your dragonfly will eat them. I believe it's... Hang on. I believe the achievement's to... let me look it up. Conservationist. Yes, you have to kill Gulp in Gulp without harming any of the chickens dropped by the pterodactyls.
Okay. Why pterodactyls Dropping chickens.
Sorry?
Why are they dropping chickens? They're just...
Because that's how you heal.
Okay.
When you kill the chickens, that's how you heal sparks. But when you take damage, that's when they start to drop the chickens.
Yeah, okay. I see the problem. So is that just like more? Would you say that's the biggest or the hardest achievement?
That's probably the hardest achievement in the game. Yeah, they don't get much harder than that, I would say.
Okay.
Because you have to be careful as well, because Gulp will eat the chickens as well to heal himself.
Yeah.
Basically the only way I could do it was to get the infinite super flame and just really easily defeat him with that power. That's
a skill you can get.
Let's break into my least favorite part of the game: the flying sections. I was not a big fan of the flying sections in Spyro, but they're in every single Spyro game. There is at least a flying level per world, pretty much.
Okay.
They're not too bad once you get used to them, but I just really wasn't a fan of them personally myself.
Right.
Basically, the main idea is you fly around and you destroy a bunch of objectives before the time runs out. Every objective you destroy gives you more time. And then you need to 100% it. I think in the second game, it's pretty much the same thing. But there is, the leopard guy, I can't remember what he's called. He's hidden throughout the levels, and there's also like secret eggs to unlock in Spyro 2. And in Spyro 3, it's completely different. They're basically all races, and you have to win races, so it's even harder. I would say Spyro 3 probably has the hardest flying sections in the game. Yeah, I think that like the games do seem to get a bit more difficult as they go on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like Spyro 2 has like one of the hardest bosses. I think it's
this is very difficult to get. Like you got like no time to do anything. To try and get.
So this is something I wanted to talk about. So initially I started playing the game with a controller because like it's a platform, I'm going to play with a controller.
Yeah.
But I found as soon as I got to the flying sections, I could not control it with the controller. So I started trying with the mouse and keyboard, and I found it so much easier to play with the mouse and keyboard, to a point where I pretty much only use the mouse and keyboard for flying sections.
Yeah, I can kind of see. Yeah, I will say, like, from what vague I remember from console gaming, like I think I did always struggle with like flying stuff compared to PC.
I've always hated flying stuff in games.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I quite like flying. So you don't like Ratchet and Clank 2's flying, for example?
And like the inverted flying and or non-inverted flying, that shit always like confused me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started like exclusively using mouse and keyboard for flying, and it got to a point where I found some precise sections in the actual non-flying sections I started using mouse and keyboard for, and it got to a point where I was pretty much playing the game just like on the spot. What was the word I said earlier? I can't remember. But I was pretty much just on the fly switching between mouse and keyboard and controller for a long time playing this game. The mouse and keyboard controls in this game are really good. Like it's a platformer on PC, and it was originally designed for a controller, but the work they've done to for the mouse and keyboard controls is really good, to a point where I went from controller, flying mouse and keyboard, free switching between mouse and keyboard and controller, to I think by the end of the game I was exclusively using mouse and keyboard for most of the time. Like
yeah, you switched.
I think I just preferred playing it with mouse and keyboard, which may be like sacrilege to some people, but the mouse and keyboard controls on this Reignited trilogy are really good.
Well, a lot of it. Surely a lot of it is just like wherever you're looking, like.
But I just
like a lot of the precision is in where you're looking, so the mouse kind of makes sense.
Well, the thing is, I just have so much better. What's the word? I know mouse and keyboard so much better. Like the muscle memory for me is so much better than a joystick.
Yeah, Yeah.
Whereas if you're someone who's been playing console all your life, you'll probably still find controller easier, I would say.
Yeah.
But if you're someone picking this up on PC, and you're like, oh, I'm probably going to try controller. Try mouse and keyboard as well. If you get stuck on a section, try playing it with a mouse and keyboard a couple of times and see if that helps you, because I found that helped me.
You didn't get all the barrels.
No, because
this seems very annoying. Like having to perfectly find everything in order.
If you want to get the 100%, you have to do it all in one.
Oh god!
But it's not too. Once you've done it a couple of times, it's really not that bad.
Just getting used to the order though. Like that seems to be the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea of this, I quite like the flying idea. Actually, this is kind of fun. Other than the very small time limit.
Yeah, and also I would recommend 100%, at least 100%ing all of the Spyro games on the actual games, because there's such great bonus content at the end if you 100% the game. There's great little I think the third one has a theme park where you go around and you go around on roller coasters and stuff, and there's fun little mini games you play which unlocks more content.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I think that might be the second game, actually. The third one just goes fucking crazy, and it starts giving you a bajillion gems and stuff like that, and it's yeah, by this point, gems are just meaningless at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone has a bonus level. I can't say how much I fucking loved this game. I really genuinely fucking loved it.
Yeah, it helps that it looks great as well as controls great.
Oh guys, breaking news. My brother bought a Steam Deck on Steam. He put a pre-order in. I saw it in the Steam activity.
Okay.
And I wrote on the Steam activity comments, I wrote, oh, which one did you get? And he just sent me a text a week later saying, oh, I just saw your post. I got the top spec one. So in 1 to 2 years, I will own a Steam Deck, guys. Confirmed.
Is that what's...
It's as soon as Daniel puts it down, someone forgets about it. It will be mine. So.
Well, unless it's so good for him that he just keeps using it.
No, I don't think
so. No, okay.
Maybe. I hope so. I hope he's.
I feel like maybe he might play it in his lunch break or something. I don't know. I don't know what his timetable's like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he works from home, so he can play on his gaming PC.
What's his reasoning then?
He just fucking loves Linux, I guess.
He loves Valve.
Yeah. Well, that's true for me and my brother both, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to the next game. But before we finish, I just want to say, I fucking love the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I never played it before, and playing all 3 games, they all have something really great about them, and I would highly recommend to anyone, even if you've never played the original Spyro games like me, if you're a fan of... precision platform. If you're a fan of collectathons or 3D platformers, definitely check this one out, because you're missing out on a classic game that still holds up to this day. I have zero nostalgia goggles. This game holds up to this day. It is so good. Highly recommend. Yeah. Fantastic visuals. It looks fantastic. It looks like a Pixar movie on screen. It looks absolutely fantastic. So next up we have Knockout City, and this is another game I played and absolutely love.
Mr. Banana.
You love to see Mr. Banana.
I love to see Eddie Murphy 69.
That's the name of my character. As I tried to make my character look like Eddie Murphy as much as possible. Basically,
you did.
Yeah. Basically, when I couldn't get my name Scorn on Origin, and it was annoying me not having my name, so I just I'm just gonna call myself something really dumb on Origin. So I renamed myself to I was Eddie Murphy taken, Eddie Murphy 420 taken, Eddie Murphy 69 available. Okay, let's go. That's my name now on Origin.
Sometimes, so this is Origin game.
Yeah, so it's an Origin game, but have it on Steam. It's through the. You can launch it through Steam, and then it'll open Origin in the background. You download it through Steam, so it's part of Origin games coming to Steam
together.
Yeah. I bought it from Steam and I own it on Steam, sort of thing.
Yeah.
which I much prefer doing.
It's just EA games you don't have to link to EA if they don't like require you authenticating like your name. But yeah, all the modern EA stuff you have to link to their account.
Right, I think I'm already linked, sort of thing.
Yeah. So you got the Titanfall games through Steam, right?
I got Titanfall 2 through. Well, I mean, I'm already linked for a long. I mean, I have Apex.
Oh,
Apex runs natively through Steam. Actually, I think it's the only one that runs natively through Steam.
I mean, when you get money from microtransactions. Yeah. See, I never understood that. I don't know why they need to. Yeah, I don't know why EA cared.
What about?
Like linking it to like an Origin account. Like I guess their plan was like, oh, if you got an Origin or EA account, like you would then look at other stuff. But there's
it doesn't make sense unless it's it doesn't make sense for single player games. But a lot of the EA games I play are multiplayer, so it makes sense for those.
Yeah.
But this is Knockout City. If you've never seen Knockout City, which I hope you have, because it's a fucking amazing game, it's basically like a 3v3 dodgeball sort of game. That I would say it should be very reminiscent to anyone who's played a game like Splatoon or any of those like great 3v3 deceptively easy competitive games. It reminds me of like a game like Rocket League in that way, where the barrier to entry is really low, but the actual skill ceiling on the game is fucking insane. Like I sometimes play like the rank mode on this, and I'm like, I see someone doing something, I'm like, wait, you can do that? Like I didn't even know you could do that sort of thing. So yeah, It is pretty cool because there's throws to throw dodgeballs, and all the dodgeballs lock on as you throw them. But there's spin throws which spin the ball. There is lobs which throw the ball up. So it's like if I'm round a corner and I see someone, I can like spin it round the corner and hit them, and they won't have time to react to it because they won't know they're being locked onto. Yeah. Or there's also different types of balls. So there's the basic dodgeball. There's moon balls, which give you super low gravity when you're carrying it, and if you hit someone with it, they'll go flying if you hit them. You can catch the dodgeball, which then results in it gaining a charge. You can fake throw the dodgeball. Because that's very important, because the catching animation is a long animation you get stuck into.
Oh, okay. Right.
So if I throw the ball, I pretend throw it. My opponent tries to grab it, stuck in a grab animation, and I throw the ball at them. I'm like almost guaranteed to hit them.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about this game on the podcast quite a bit, but this game is really fucking fun. Because initially I think this is beta footage. From the beta that I played on Origin.
Oh, can you throw the ball as they throw a ball at you as well?
Yeah, and if they collide, they like collide and they'll hit each other.
Yeah.
Oh, also another thing, your teammates can become balls. So you can throw your teammates, which is another interesting thing. But then if somebody catches your teammate, if you throw them at them, then they will then get them in like a chain ball. And then they'll be able to like trap them for 10 seconds. So you can see here, I can turn into a ball and my friends could throw me. And if you fully charge up throwing your friend, you'll create like a supercharge where you can throw them up into the air. And then they will come down like a bomb from the sky, like an airdrop, which is pretty fucking cool to see. There is so much depth to this game. It's crazy. Oh, there's also tackling. You can also you can charge into people, and if you charge into them, it stuns them. Or if you charge into a ball that's being thrown at you, you will knock it away and won't get hit.
Oh, that's what that. Okay, right.
Yeah, I could.
There's a lot of ways to deal with any situation. Then, okay. There's a lot. Durable.
This is me playing solos with like a bunch of random people. I didn't get any. This is the supercharge I'm talking about. It's like if you ever played Overwatch, it's like Doomfist Salt. If you know what I'm talking about, which you probably don't, because you don't play Overwatch. But if you do at home, it's Doomfist Salt. So
I assume that the person who's the ball gets to choose or kind of steer where they land.
So as soon as you throw them up, they're in full control of where they go.
Okay.
And here's another like 5-head top level mechanic. If you're in that artillery strike and you land on a bounce pad, it doesn't cancel the artillery strike. It lets you keep going. So you can come from the sky as a Super Ball, and then you can land on a bounce pad, and everyone's like, "Oh, he landed!" But then you bounce around, you wait for them to come out, and then you hit them. Like, there's a lot of like subtle mechanics in this game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Once you start to get into it, it becomes kind of crazy. I got hit by a moonball there, which is why my ragdoll's like flying into space. Another thing you can do.
I was going to say quickly, I find ragdolls in games like making them way more fun. I don't know if that's just me but I just really like ragdoll.
So it also has like Super Smash Bros. Rules, because if you get knocked out of the course, you're done. You will dead. I mean, you can get knocked out, and you can like edge recovery, and there's edge guard like Smash Bros. Because you have like everyone has a hang glider. So if you get knocked off, you can try and glide back in, or you can, if you knock someone else off, you can like edge guard, and every time they try and come back, you knock them down and stun them so they can't get back up.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. But this is like just like a really fun game. I'd say it's a lot better if you can get a crew together. So if you can get like 2 other people to play with you, would be a lot more fun. Oh, I think this is just me showing like the training mode sort of thing.
What a dummy!
You can't say that.
Why are you wearing a donut shirt?
Yeah, what's your problem with donuts, Tony?
Never seen it on a shirt before.
So this is another game mode. There's multiple game modes, but the main one is just the 3v3. They're basically doing like a roadmap now, because I should mention that this is beta footage, but I did actually just buy the game at full price. I think it was about £15 or something.
Yeah.
Where I was like, this game's really fucking fun, and I want to play more of it, and I played.
You kept playing it like is it like a free trial sort of period, right?
So they started trial where you could play as much as you wanted for the first week.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, so many people wanted to play, we're going to make it so you can play it all the way to level 5 for free. So if you're looking at this and you're like, I don't know if I want to drop like, you know, £15 on this, you can just play with your friends for free up to level 15, and it's up to level 25, and that is quite a lot of content. That's probably like I would say probably like 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that.
Right. I know Halo Andy was like, I want to save the moment. I don't want to level up too much.
Every time I asked him to play, he was like, I don't want to use up my playtime. I was like, if we're literally not wanting to play because we don't want to use up our playtime, we should just get the game. Yeah. So that's the cageable part. So when you hit someone with this, it forces them into a cage, similar to catching a thrown someone, and that becomes pretty interesting. Because then you could throw them off the map.
You, right?
And when I'm stuck in that cage, I can roll away slowly, so I'm rolling away, trying not to get hit by anyone.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do, though, is if you find a teammate who's in a cage ball, that's another thing you can do. If someone's in a cage ball, they can't dodge, so you don't need to throw them off the map. You can hit them with a regular dodgeball, and that will deal damage to them. And another thing you could do, if you find a teammate in a cage ball, you want to pick them up and protect them, and you can get them immediately out of a dodgeball by supercharging them, and then just turning them into one of those artillery strike bombs. And another thing you can do is you can pass. I forgot to mention passing, because passing becomes fucking massive at like the higher ranks, where when you
swapping balls between each other.
Yeah, when you pass to someone, you immediately charge the ball. And it's a great way to get the ball to move across the map really quickly. So that was someone who used the spin ball really good there. Because I had no idea where the ball was coming from, because I couldn't see him, but I knew I was being tracked. But this is another game mode.
The passing. As I said, the passing then is like, it kind of forces you to like be, not forces you, but like incentivizes you to be together with your teams, like trying out like these tactics, right? Like, because you can power up the ball quicker.
Yeah. So this is another game mode that I was playing called, I think it's called Diamond Dash. Basically, instead, cause the normal game mode is you just keep going into, it's a best of 3, and it's the first to get like, I think it's around 10 eliminations in the normal game mode.
Yeah.
In this game mode, you need to kill your opponents, and then they drop diamonds, and it's the first to like 30 diamonds or something like that. And then you win that round, and then of course again it's still a best 3. I like that every game's a best of 3. I like the fact that there's always a chance to come back. It's not just a one and done round sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels good that you can improve your teammates even if you're like playing with random teammates sort of thing. And it's as easy as that, guys. We won.
Yeah. I like the slow motion ending. I was thinking about that. That's really cool as well.
Yeah, you love to see it.
And they've learned all the tricks from all the other games. Like, oh, this is like they've learned stuff from Smash. They've learned stuff from like I guess from like some parts from Overwatch. Like I just feel like they've learned just taken all the stuff they like and went, yeah, but put it into one game with balls.
Yeah, but it looks like there's going to be good support for this game. I believe there's always going to be a player base, even if you wanted to play solo, because it is on EA Access and it is on Xbox Game Pass. So there's always going to be people to play with, because there's services that will give you this game semi for free, free with a subscription. So
free with another package.
People will always have access to that sort of thing. So don't worry about the player base sort of thing, I would say.
Yeah.
But I would say mainly, I think the game is best played if you can just get a couple of squads. If you have like a squad of people already, you're like, hey, I've got 2 other friends who I always play Rocket League with, or I always play something else with, then definitely pick it up with them. It's the 3D Windjammers, guys. It's the 3D Windjammer. It's the game we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, that's why I know it as.
This is just one map, but there is like tons of map already, and they're adding new maps for the new seasons and stuff. You can see there, I kind of fucked that guy because he was stuck in a catch animation.
Is there a bad map, or the map's good?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever...
That was a curve.
Sometimes I don't like specific balls, because which special ball you have on the map changes. I like...
Yeah.
I think one of my favourite balls... I like Moon Ball a lot, actually. That's one of my favourites.
Cage Ball seems really annoying.
Sniper Ball is my least favourite ball.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, that locks on, and if you fully...
Like rugby ball, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a American football. And
yeah, well, one of the two.
Yeah, and basically... See, I love these 1v1 moments where he's just like fake throwing, and we're just like going back and forth, and then I win, and it's as easy as that. I love games where you can like 1v1 outplay an opponent. That's why I love games like Dead by Daylight, Windjammers. What are other PvP games like that? Apex Legends. Like when there's moments where you can just outplay another human, and you're given so many tools and ways to show skill expression. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Apparently your dead body can go on bounce pads as well.
You love to see that. But yeah, I'm going to get mesmerized watching. This game is great to watch. So he catches his friend there, so that was another way to stop me from throwing it off the map. But I catched his friend there.
Oh.
Ran out of time to throw him off the map there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we win this game, actually. I haven't watched this footage in a while. Oh, it's getting close, guys. It's getting close. You can hear... I think I was recording my mic in this recording as well, so you might hear him going, or like smashing the keyboard. Well, it's Old Man Sellers. You love to hear him. It's the final kill, Tony. Let's see if I get it, and then we'll end it on the final kill where we win. Oh yeah, I win for sure. There's no way I don't win. Come on. Oh, cage ball! The cage ball. There it is. The match win. You'll have to see it. Guys, check out Knockout City and Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Two of my favorite games I've played this year. Definitely check these ones out. They're really fucking cool. Goodbye.
Bye.